Welcome to Story Time with Chief, brought to you by E1T1 Entertainment. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you enjoy the episode, feel free to hit the Cash App. Any donation is highly appreciated. Peace. Welcome back to Story Time with Chief, and today I got one of my reoccurring guests, so no long introduction. My man Johnny is back in the building. His first episode went crazy, and I brought him back to catch up, man. How you doing, my brother?
What's going on? What's going on? It's always good. It's always good to be back. You already know, man. Each
Yes,
one
sir.
teach
Yes,
one.
sir. You see it. Each one teach one. Before we talk about the viral sensation of your first episode, I want to ask, how's 2025 been treating you?
2025 it's been a decent year, man. You know, what I mean, it had its ups, it had its downs, but it been a decent year. It's balancing itself out.
Okay. Okay. Man, I got married. I'm a husband now.
Congratulations, congratulations.
Thank you, bro. And I remember on our episode, your first episode, we were talking offline and you were telling me like how important marriage and love is. And like I already was engaged to my partner, bro, but is it weird that I feel like I love her even more since we've been married, or is that mental?
I don't know, cause I ain't gonna front, man. I've been watching you for a few years, and first off, I want to say I'm extremely proud of just first off,
Mm,
just the relationship side. You know what I mean? Just you putting your woman out there. You know what I'm saying? You just showing the example of, you know what I'm saying, not only black don't crack, but black don't cheat. So, so all jokes aside, like shout out to you for that one. Like, you know, you might not see it, but like I've been saying it for years on the Facebook. I know all the old teachers commented like, "Yo, Chief, don't worry, wifey coming home. Don't worry." And you and you setting the example of like, yo, like how it feels or how it should be to really be in love. And
damn, thank
I'm glad
you.
y'all took that step. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, that's
Yeah.
real love, bro. Cause you knew me as a teenager. So
Nah, yeah.
you seen the evolution.
Nah, yeah, facts. They gotta get you on a positive version of why did I get married.
That's fire. Why did I get married, bro? Nah, thank you for the affirmations, bro. It's always like extra special when it comes from people that basically knew you as a child. Cause we was in high school together, like
Nah, yeah,
kids.
and I know how it is growing up in our culture, just when you dealing with women or when you dealing with being cool and you've been genuine about being yourself, regardless. And now to be yourself with your woman to show what it is, to like, hey, listen, this is family. And you set an example because some young dudes or even young women, they don't even know how to be treated or how they should be treated. I didn't have my father in the
Amen.
home. So you setting a standard, and it's like that's official. You know what I mean? That's official.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate
Shout
it,
out to
man.
you and your wife. Shout out to you and your wife,
Yes,
man.
sir. You already know. Thank you, brother. Thank you. But I'm happy to have you on as a reoccurring guest because every time we connect, it's insightful for sure. Each one teach one knowledge. I learned a lot from you and we share it to the world. But there's a lot of situations in the media right now that I just want your opinion on. We could talk about life, we could talk about hip hop, we could talk about current events. I want to talk about it all. So, perfect segue for us talking about real love, setting an example as real men of what true love is, unconditional love is with a woman. I was watching Sports Center and I seen they were talking about Steph Curry. So I'm like, oh, yo, Steph Curry. I'm like, wait, Steph Curry's the man. I'm a Knick fan, big Knicks. But I'm like, Steph Curry, man, he a Hall of Fame already. So, I ain't pay attention. I turned that shit off. I dressed, went to work. On the train, I'm scrolling through Instagram and I'm like, I see something on like a social media post. I'm not gonna hype them up because they already got enough people clicking. And it says Steph Curry's wife says she did not want to have kids. She wanted her own future she had her own plans. And at first I'm like, that okay, I get it. But why is that important for you to say now? You're a proud mother and a wife of a multi-gazillionaire. And then before she said this, way back, like a few years back, she had said on a podcast that she wished more dudes would holler at her What? Like, you're a married woman. You have the life, and I can't speak for women, but you have a husband. You never have to work in your life. You have beautiful children, and you're set generational wealth forever. And you're on the internet saying you wish dudes was in your DM. And now, 4 years, 5 years later, you're like, yeah, we got beautiful kids, but I had my own plans. But Steph didn't understand. How you feel about that? As another man with children and a life partner doing life, let me know how you feel about that. What's your perspective on Steph Curry's wife saying that she wished dudes would holler at her and she wished that she had her own career and she didn't want to have, like, I guess, children?
I mean, that's deep. I think that could be a whole podcast episode all by itself. I'm not even gonna lie, because some
Facts.
people don't realize how deep it is. And first off, shout out to her for being honest.
Mm,
Really, it'll get
being
to the
honest.
point it'll get to the point where she's like, "Hey, Steph, this ain't working for me." And I hope it don't get there. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying it's like at some point, um, it has to get to the point for either the man or the woman, when they in this relationship, to see what really makes them happy. It's proven right now, even with her, like money's not gonna do it. The fame is not gonna
Mm,
do it.
money's not
I
going to
knew a
do.
I knew a female got pregnant in high school. Nobody, no, not none of mine's, whatever. I'm just saying a female that I know. I'm not gonna say her name.
Yeah, yeah.
She got pregnant and she wanted to get pregnant again. So she kind of missed out on her high school years, you know? Then when she was in college, her child was young. So when she got to middle of her 30s, she was partying and partying and partying. And I was just like, we had a talk one time. It's like, why what I'm saying, why you always partying? And it just so happened that she feeling like she missed out on her high school years. She missed out
Got
on
it.
her goal. And I feel like a lot of women, like Steph Curry's wife, they don't want to admit it, but I'm not saying that it's cheating, and I'm not saying that it's okay, and I'm not saying that I agree with it, but I am
Yeah.
saying that I'm human, and I put myself
That's
as a
fire.
man, and sometimes a woman, they want compliments. So she's saying like, "Yo, I." Not saying that she's gonna go along with it and sleep with the man,
Yeah.
but she's saying that I had kids and sometimes I might feel like I'm carrying baggage and fell off. I want to know I still got it. You know what I mean?
Got
I
it.
want to go to
Yeah.
the club and I want them to be like, damn, even though I'm a mom, but
And the wife. And the wife.
they want the recognition of still being a woman and still being a hot woman. And I say this and I let you talk. I think the problem is a lot of times people lose themselves in relationships. You know what I mean? And they don't know how to basically, I don't want to say kind of like be their selves, because there's like she got to hide under the shell of Steph Curry, right?
Got it.
And not saying that she can't do her stuff that she wants to do, but it's like sometimes it's like, Chief is going to have his own purpose, your wife is going to have her own purpose, right? And it's like you got to cheer her on and then she got to cheer you on. And sometimes it'd be like some of the women don't want to cheer their man on because they want that celebration, and it becomes like competition. You know?
Sleeping with the enemy.
More talk about it.
Sleeping with the enemy, man. The way you broke that down makes so much sense. Like, and she's being honest and she's being human. She has a wonderful life, but living underneath the shadow of your husband, who's a famous NBA player, it's probably tough. And then you
And it's
mentioned a point about having children young. There's several like grandmothers in the club. You get what I'm saying? Because they missed out on their golden years, to your point. Because I was a parent, so I
correct.
understand it. At the same time, not everything is for the public. Like, me and Johnny shouldn't be talking about you and your husband.
But we are in that day and age, you know what I mean? And I think she even said it herself, she can't really hold water. I think that, sometimes people expressing themselves is also clearing a mental, because it's like if she's saying that, imagine what she's going through in her mind at home. I think that
Damn. Damn.
relationships, money, fame, even sometimes looks, it's not gonna be the withal to hold everything together. You know what I mean? In that relationship. And I'm not saying that, they could be all good. Steph Curry maybe knows how to deal with her, but it's just like not everybody was born to be a mother or a father. I personally feel I was born to be a dad. You know what I mean? Like
Amen.
I could
Amen.
sit back. Like sometimes my son will take over the whole living room, my living room with the game. I'm like, you know what? I'll play the game tomorrow. Not so, not saying so much like I can't get him off the game, but it's like I understand, like, yo, I had my time. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
like some moms or even some dads is just like they want to have the child, but they don't fully understand, what it takes to be a parent because the job is 24/7.
Never stops. 24/7. That's coming from a father at a young age.
Nah, yeah, facts.
Look at you now. Insight came from experience.
Exactly.
Because you told us in the first episode you had a kid in 8th grade.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Who's probably in college or a college graduate now. You know what I'm saying? So you had to learn being a parent. But your learning process was vastly different from hers and Steph's because you were learning while still pursuing your education, while still working 9 to 5s and making sure you could provide. It's
So
different when you're a parent working a 9 to 5 versus a parent that's a multimillionaire. It might be a little easier to learn.
no, yeah, it has its differences, but like, so I got five sisters, right? And a lot of
Yes.
people be like, "Yo, Johnny, man, like, when I be talking to people, giving them advice, like, you know what I mean, like I'm some marriage counselor or something, and they like, yo, oh, maybe you know this because your sisters, or maybe you know this because your mom." And to be honest, all due respect, it's not really because of I have five sisters or my mom. It's because certain things come natural to some people. That's why I said some people are, it's like you born to basically be a dad. It's like, you could just see that, you know what I mean? Like you going all out, you fighting for your kids. And I just feel that, even with, basically her being a millionaire, there's still a young girl inside her, or a young
Mm,
girl inside of a lot of women.
yeah.
They fight in
And
that
men.
back. Yeah, facts. They
And
fact.
men.
So
Yeah.
they fight in that battle, and it's like, even though you 35, are you really an adult? Even though you have four children, are you really a father? Are you really a mother? And sometimes I say this, women have children for the man. And the issue is that in those relationships, a lot of times women, they give so much to the man that they forget to give to themselves. And then when they start
Mm,
hitting a late,
yo.
then when they start
Yo,
hitting
you
they,
teaching.
then when they start
Damn.
hitting they start late ages, they in the kitchen, they cooking, they like, damn, hold on. What have I done in these last 10 years? And they gave everything to the man. They like, yo, you go work, you go do this. I stay home, I cook. And as they feel like, yo, where, he got all these awards, but I'm the one
How
here
about
cooking
me?
and doing this.
Yeah. It's
Exactly.
powerful.
You know what I
It's
mean? And it's,
powerful.
it's it's
Yeah.
only right. It's only right. It's only right.
And a lot of the times we gotta hold men accountable too. Your woman pouring all that into you and you out there having side families. like, like side families. Like I'm Haitian. And the big Zoe, I'm prideful in that being a Haitian,
Nah, yeah.
but
Nah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
the joke in social
Yeah.
media is that
Correct.
Haitian men have side families. So my wife jokes around like, even before we got married, like, yo, you got kids in Haiti? You got kids I need to know about in Haiti? I'm like, girl, what are you talking about? She's like, yeah, I know these Haitian men. And it's not just Haitian men, but I could joke on my own people. They be like,
Nah, yeah,
we be
facts.
having whole other families and shit, right? So back to your point, you're right. The woman gives herself to the man, everything to the man, whether that's being a stay-at-home wife, taking care of the kids, which is the hardest job, making sure there's food for the husband, and the husband's outside being a dirtbag.
Yeah. And it's funny because it happens in the Spanish community too. I mean, DR is like right across the street from you
Yeah,
guys.
we cousins.
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah, I think, that's why I think it's real important. And that's why, I always, I'm always saluting you on your relationship. You know, Facebook, sees that. And sometimes a man, like even myself, when I'm arguing with my girl, I'm like, damn, this dude chief, he going above and beyond. I'm like, you know what, man, let me do my thing
Yeah,
today.
yeah.
But I see
As I
like
learned from you too in fatherhood, I see you with your kids. That's inspiring for when we are ready to embark on that journey. I see what you're doing with your kids. I see you at the games. I see you at church. Like,
not
you
and
know what I'm saying? I see
Nah,
you.
yeah, facts. And some people hit me up. Like for me, it's like that's just another day. Like I don't really look at it until that's why I wanted to acknowledge on what you're doing, with your relationship, because I look at it like, yo, it's a regular day. Like I look at like how can I not go to my son games? You know what I mean? Like how can I not be at my daughter's graduation? It's like second nature. And that's why I was saying
Absolutely.
like some people are like born for this, and then some people gotta be taught. You know what I mean? Like you have to sit down with certain people and be like, hey, listen, this is how you should treat your lady. This is how you should treat your kids. This is what you could do for your kids, because life didn't give us a manual. So
Life ain't
not e-
give us a manual. Bars again. Let's go.
not
Life did not
everybody's
give us a manual.
not everybody's gonna just have the answers. You know what I mean? Like, yo, sometimes you might know something more than me. You might know something more than me about the editing. I might have to call you up. You might know about podcasting. And I think it's the same thing, like a
One teach
relationship.
one.
Correct,
Yeah.
facts. And I think another thing too is sometimes the woman, they might have had a little argument. Steph Curry might have got caught texting another girl, so they go on a, they go on a
Very true.
podcast. They go on a podcast like I'm gonna say something spicy. You know what I mean? How you
Yeah.
like
Cause I'm
that?
hurt.
Yeah, correct. So now them dudes in
Cause
your
I'm
locker
hurt.
room, with them dudes in your locker room, when they, you know what I'm saying, when they looking at me, yeah, yeah. Now you know how it feels.
And you know
Uh,
how it feel. Yo, you know what's crazy?
what's that?
Amazing, amazing segue, right? The get back. The get back.
Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah,
right?
yeah,
How you
yeah.
feel about Cardi being married and pregnant by another man? That's part one to the question. Second part
Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
is going to be Cardi B versus Nicki Minaj world war that's happening on Instagram, Twitter, everywhere in the world. But since we're
Yeah.
having a wholesome conversation about marriage, about love, right? And about how much a woman can pour into a man. And maybe you're right. Maybe Steph was like the wrong IG picture. She saw it like, oh, that's the type of girl you like, BBLs? So I'm going to go on a podcast and say, I wish other dudes would holler at me.
Correct, correct.
So, how do you feel about Cardi B right now
Damn,
as a
you
man
be
that's in
having
a committed relationship?
you be having good topics. So I'm gonna start with the Cardi and Nicki, right? Even though you might have the
Cardi
bar,
and Nicki,
you have the Barbies and the BX chicks after me, right?
the
Personally,
Barbs.
the Barbs, yeah, yeah, appreciate the correction.
Nah,
Personally,
nah, got you.
I didn't really look deep into it, but I did see Nicki kind of like violating on the kids,
Crashing
and
out.
I feel like she was out of line, and she really showing it's more personal for her. I'm not team really nobody, but
Me neither.
I can
I'm
say
team get
like
along.
facts.
Team,
I'm
team
team.
get
I'm
along.
I'm team. You just dropped the album. I don't know if y'all making this up for the views or the money.
Yep. Money.
But
Yep.
one thing I will say though, I like really respect about Cardi. First off, one of my favorite songs from Cardi is "Get Up 10," and even that female
Get up
song,
10.
um, even as a female song, it's like, yo, that song could get you a little hype because everybody got a story, right? And I'm not glorifying her story, but I kind of respect it. You're not saying that, hey, I want my daughter to carve that path. Nah, but this is what you did. You owned up to it. You made something out of it. And at one point, she was trying to settle down with seemed like she was trying to settle down with Offset.
She
Now,
was.
whatever she was showing on TV, and how whatever she was doing, how she was trying to get her money, they already agreed upon that. So that's not something I would
Yeah,
agree on.
absolutely.
But to clear the Cardi, I think Nicki was way out of line, and I see Cardi a lot of times as a humble person.
Very.
She don't forget where she came from, and it's like, she want to lift others up, and she's taking care of her circle. So I gotta respect her for that.
Amen.
As far as her getting pregnant, I really don't know the situation. I can say that a lot of times, and I'm not trying. I know a lot of people be trying to think I be trying to take up for women. I'm not trying to take up for nobody, but
Nah,
yeah,
we
yeah.
talking.
A lot of times, like even women and guys, you could be in a situation. I don't know how long her and Offset was going through what they was going through, and all the
Mm,
chances that she gave him. I'm not saying that it's cool. I would have been hella tight. I
yeah,
definitely think she should have got divorced, but I don't know the situation. So it looks wilder than probably what it is, and then
yeah,
it be dropping an album on top of it, and it be pregnant and perform. It looks really wild, but I still
it
mess with
does.
Cardi.
Facts. She's
You know,
authentic.
yeah, 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 facts. And I think
She's
I think it's
authentic.
funny how my man Offset going for 70% of that 70% of that marriage.
Is he
What you think
wrong
on
though?
that? What you think on that? I want to know what you think on that first. Let me know what you think on that. What you think on that, bro?
All right, all right, all right.
What you think on
So
that? I
Cardi,
hope I hope this ain't gonna get you. I hope this ain't gonna get you to sleep on the couch, man. Let me know what you think
nah,
about
my
that.
wife not gonna kick me off. Maybe I might. It might, right? It might make me sleep on the couch, right? So Cardi B's the breadwinner in the marriage. You know, they say men are the breadwinner in relationships, but we in a different time. Our women are more educated. Our women are in higher paying jobs than most men right now in our community, brown and black community. Women are at the top of the ladder, but they still say men should provide this. But if the roles were reversed, Cardi would do the same thing and want more, whatever it is, half of everything. But it's frowned upon for Offset to do it simply because he is a male. She has more money than me. She has hundreds of millions. She's a bigger artist than me. Cardi's a megastar. Offset is a dope rapper from the Migos. The money different, the lifestyles are different. I still want to maintain the lifestyle since we were together. Would I do what he's doing? I don't know. My pops raised me different. At the same time, though, I deserve to because we were married. You were my wife. I cheated. I whatever scumbag shit that he was doing. I don't deserve you. So in theory, if I don't deserve you, I don't deserve half of your money either. But we are married. We do have kids together. So I ain't knocking him. Women out here, don't kill me. I
Nah,
wouldn't do it. I let my wife, my ex-wife, go be happy. I don't need your money. I'ma earn my own. But by the rules of marriage and the courts, he's entitled to half. Unless they did a prenup or something like that. I'm not sure. We're not in their business.
nah, I
But
think
he wants 70%. He like, nah, I ain't gotta rap no more.
I think how you said it is well said. Me personally, nah, I would want to play around with it. Like, yeah, yeah, I'm gonna get 70. I probably play around with it in text. Like, yeah, I'm gonna get 70% from your ass. But nah, as a man, you want to go out and get yours. You know what I mean, on
Get
your
your
own. But I
own.
did, I did. Offset was with the kids. You know what I mean?
If he
That's
got
that's
the
that's what they were saying. But just I think it's funny to joke around with because a lot of times, women is like, oh, men is supposed to provide men this. If you can't do this, you might as well stay single. And it's like, yo, go sit
yeah,
down because
provided.
we not living in the times of your parents. We not living in the 60s. This is no longer we don't have rent and mortgage prices the times of the 60s. And a lot of times you tell a woman, hey, listen, I don't want to talk right now. I'm not ready to settle down. You just trying to, you know what I mean? You just trying to,
Yeah.
clip it and run. But if it's damn if you do, damn if you don't, because
Mm,
in this day and age, it's like the way inflation is, it's like it's not meant
it
for
takes yeah, it takes
it's
two
not
to
it's not
survive.
meant for one person to do it alone. You got to come together
Yeah.
as a team. That should
Yep.
be the goal. The goal should be for the woman not to work. Yeah, that should be the goal.
Absolutely.
But you both got to work for the goal. Nowadays, these women don't they want to show up and grow up. Like slow up.
You gotta work for it. You gotta
That's a
work for
fact.
it. You're right. You're right. But again, we gotta hold ourselves accountable. Because you said something, it's not the fees in the 60s, like where our parents married, our parents were together. It's a different everything. Women make more money, women have more education, et cetera, right? In the old days, the man was working, 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 and the wife was at home. But
Correct.
today and these days, some of these niggas be expecting a home cooked meal, a
Correct.
clean house,
Correct.
sex,
Correct.
everything at the house to be perfect, and expect their partner to be working
And I think that's how
and be
bad.
submissive.
I
Do you
think
know
that's
the
how.
submissive talk?
Uh,
You already know what that we'll be on here for hours if we go into that.
and that's a fact. And you know what I learned in my church days? See, like even for my church days and my street days, one thing I've always done, man, I always observe. That's how I got a lot of my knowledge. I observe women. I even observe women in the church, and I could kind of see through it. And a lot of times, it's like a lot of relationships break because that woman is not getting the help that she needs. And it's like, oh, just because she's the woman, you can't do dishes. Just because she's the woman, you can't cook. Man, please, if my girl's at work, man, I go and order some DoorDash, put it on some place like I cook. Have a robot like, yeah, yeah, I cook tonight. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? It's like fake it till
Yeah.
you make it.
Fake it
But
till you
I just
make it.
feel like it's an off balance. The man is asking for something that's they putting too much pressure on a woman. And then the woman is asking for a man, to support a lifestyle that she can't even support herself.
For herself. That's a bar. We
So I
putting too
think,
much pressure on the women, and women putting pressure back on us for a lifestyle they can't afford on their own.
and I think Offset, out of everything, I think Offset, he found the right chick and he put himself in the right position, right? So hopefully he don't put on child support.
Yo, but look at like the intelligence that you have, right? Because you talking about the church. You were in the church, bro. You were a pastor. So you understand. You're still very religious and a righteous man, right? You said he was in the right position. He found the right woman. Why he had, we human. We fuck up. To be human is to make errors, right? We not robots, but you had that woman before she was Cardi B. She was Cardi B. She had one song. Y'all started dating, fell in love, got married. Work on it. Why you out here sleeping with every woman that come into you interact with, breaking that bond in front of God, and now you did all of that to me, and you want 70%?
And I think that's how she looking at it. And the crazy thing is that that's usually is usually on the other side of the spectrum. It's usually with basically with women doing that to men.
Reverse. Yep.
And like I said, man, I think a lot of us, man, is still like we still growing. So it's like a kid in a candy store. It's like, damn, this is all good. I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that. And you feel that you still gonna have what you have at home. You like, hey, I'm a celebrity. This person is not leaving. I got a lot. And it just takes a few times. Like my man R. Kelly said, when a woman's fed up, man, she ain't
When a
nothing you could
woman's
do
fed
about it. She
up,
coming from all that money.
I do you think you having five sisters is why you are able to not just like empathize with the plights of a woman? Because as men, we have mothers, we mama's boys. Like, I'm a mama's boy, I'm an only child. You know what I'm saying? I love my wife's mother like that's my mother. I love women, period, right? But throughout this whole conversation, and you said the viewers are gonna say that you were defending women. Nah, you being open and honest. Like you putting yourself in their shoes. How do you think having a daughter helped with that mind frame that you have right now that you live with?
Sometimes it's an afterthought because what I mean is like I myself first, right? So I think logically, I would be like, what will my conscience think? That'd be my first answer. And then it snapped back to me. Oh, what about your daughter? Or like, what about your son? So first I think for my conscience, it's the first thing that pops up in my head. Is this morally right? Like I try not to look at it on both sides, even when it comes to, you know, political things, and I look what's morally right. I look for my conscience. What my conscience telling me? And then, I take a look. I'm like, hey, would I want my daughter doing that? Because there's a lot of praise that I'll give to Cardi B. I'm like, I don't want my daughter taking that path. But then again, I don't know the relationship her and her father had. But I'll give her credit for certain things. But I'm like, I don't want my daughter to have to go through that.
Mm,
So that's kind
that's
of like
real.
how I look at it. But It's all dependent on kind of like the question, basically what it is. Even one time we was talking about dating for my daughter, right? I was talking to my sister about dating for my daughter, and I forgot the question that popped up, and whether it's race, who my daughter date race, would I mind? And the thing is I wouldn't, I'm not racist. I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody got a preference, but for me, it's like my daughter, the way she was raised, going to school, not just basically by me, but what's in her genes. It's like I feel she's smart enough to eventually come to the conclusion to make a right decision. You know what I mean? So if that guy's if
Amen.
that if that guy's treating her wrong, it's like I know it's but so long that she's gonna put up with that. Like because she's really big on her worth. Like, she knows her
Amen.
worth. And then, like, when it goes back to the sisters, like, we have our talks, but for me, it was like what's really a blessing is like I watch couples and I'm like, yo, they gonna be done in 5 months. You know what I mean?
Oh, shit. Yeah.
There's no hating or nothing like that. I watch couples, I watch celebrity couples, like, oh, they just started dating and they posting 1,000 pictures of each other on day 3. And I'm like, yo, even for some of the girls, it's
It's
like, yo, this is
performative.
why you single. You know what I mean? Because you can't give a man too much in 3 days. If you posting 1,000 pictures of him in 3 days and y'all just started messing, he gonna start thinking about the other dude you was talking to, how many pictures you posted of him. You know what I mean? So for me, it's like I watch for the little signs. You know what I mean? Like for the little signs, and the little signs I saw like Cardi B was really feeling Offset. You know what I mean? I felt like they really had
It was
something
in
going. I
love.
don't know if he felt the same for. Yeah, correct, correct. So for me, it's more of being
Yo, okay,
observed.
you good. You had froze for a little bit, but you back now. You back now.
Yeah. It's more of just really being observant. Like, like for an example, like when I was in the streets, a lot of times I would see people buying designer, they buying this, they buying that. And I'm sitting back and I'm like, yo, for me, it's like, yo, the projects is like, it's like a scam. It's like a setup. It's like they put you in this environment. You know what I mean? You can't make more than a certain income. The father can't be in the household. So that
Trap.
for me, it's like, oh, and it's like nobody not telling you about saving. You know what I mean? It's like your biggest investment or look good is a new pair of shoes. And then when you step outside of that world and you can see what's going on, you like, yo, I've been living wrong this whole time. But you've been
This whole
programmed.
time.
You've been programmed.
Damn, man. And I know for you, like, we lived this already. We've been through it. We on the other side, but you're a father now. And your kids aren't in the environment, thank God, by your hard work, your faith, your partner are in the environment that we grew up in or grew up around. So they're not like, they don't get to feel it, I guess. The peer pressure of, yo, roll up. Yo, your kicks is trash. Like, they're not going through that, right? But right now, I think it's worse than when we was teenagers.
Oh yes, it's absolutely worse. So my son is a teenager. My son is he's 17.
God bless.
Appreciate it. And like my son, like he's crazy about the girls. He wanna, get them this, take them out on these dates. And I try to tell him, I'm like, hey, listen, I try to tell him, hey, fall back, do what you gotta do. But a lot of times I just fall back and I watch my son. I say, I'm gonna wait till he call me because I begin to learn it's like you have to let your kids fall down and make mistakes. Because you could
Mm.
talk to them till they blue in the face and they're gonna still try to sneak out. They're gonna still try to see that person. They're gonna think you hating on them. They're gonna think it's a competition. They're gonna think it's a competition. So what I usually do is I tell my son a story. Like I tell my son, hey, listen, I tried to smoke one time in my life. It just didn't work. Me and my boy, we bought a Dutch back in the days when it was Dutches. We tried to roll up in the back
Yeah.
staircase, and smoking wasn't for me. And I'm just not a follower. You know what I mean? I tried it one time,
You're
and I'm
that
like, yo,
honest with him? That open and
honest,
honest?
that honest,
Alright.
everything
That's
honest.
fire.
I feel like the more I open the floor is because like I don't want my son to feel like he got to be perfect. You know what I mean? I wanna get the chance to help him. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we can't be
Absolutely.
ignorant as parents. Like you don't think your 17-year-old trying to sneak off and smoke. You know what I mean? You don't think they trying to do something. Not all, but I'm
Yeah.
saying the
Don't
more
be naive.
ignorant. Yes, the more you blind to it, the more it is. The more you
Yeah.
can start realizing, you know what I mean? Like, of what's going on. And for me, it's like I'd rather equip my son with what I didn't have for him to tell me, like, hey, I got somebody pregnant.
Damn, that's a bar. I'd rather equip my son with what I didn't have than him come back and tell me he got someone pregnant. Man, I'm gonna call you a lot when I have a child. You know why?
Cool me, I
Because
pull up.
yeah, I'm gonna call you a lot. And I have a lot of fathers in my network that I respect, and I'm watching them in real time go through it. But I don't know how, like, when that time comes, I don't know if I'll be that open and honest with my son about what I was doing when I was 13, 14, 15, 16, because hopefully, God willing, he won't be living in the environment for those things to be happening. He'll be long gone, own room, own everything. So he won't have to deal with it. But he is going to reach an age. And if he's my son, like that's chief son, some of my DNA going to be in his blood, a lot of it. And I
Ah,
just need
yeah,
to see like how comfortable that you are talking to your son about the birds and the bees and stuff
yeah,
like that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'll let my wife take care of that shit. I'll let my wife have those conversations. I'll be the disciplinary.
yeah. To be honest, man, there's some stories that didn't even make the pulpit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's how crazy they was. You know,
absolutely. Absolutely.
those are some stories I just take to the grave with me. My son won't know,
We'll
but
never know.
I try to tell my son things that he can relate to. You know what I mean? I want him to know, like, yo, how to talk to a woman, you know, how to have the upper advantage. Now, these day and ages, like everything is about, oh, you got to buy designer this and designer that. You got
Terrible.
$2,000 worth of designer, $5 in your pocket. And it's like, you don't have no plan. And I'm just, I be trying to tell my son is like, listen, you keep it simple and plain. I'm not saying you don't have to get the designer, but you keep it simple and plain. You lower the expectation. Then when you do take out on a date, you could cover it. You getting her designer, you designer. She's gonna be looking for some more designer. And then
Yeah.
when you don't have to pay for that, that's the relationship you establish because now you looking like you have money, but you don't
Yeah.
have money. You know what I
But you
mean?
don't. You led with money. You led
Exactly.
with money. You gotta be honest. You
And
gotta
these
be
are the,
honest. And yo,
and,
that's real game. That's real game.
and these are the type of chicks that you're gonna attract. You attracting these type of
Mm,
chicks. You attracting
yeah.
these type of women, you know? So like I told you before, man, I try to open the floor as much as I can with all my kids. You know what I mean? Because I feel like we living in a day and age is sometimes your kid is gonna tell you stuff and you like, oh damn, my kid did that. And you gotta just look at them like you gotta look at them like, yeah, yeah, it's all
My
good. But in the
kid
back of
did
your
that.
mind, you know what I'm saying? But then you have to remember, like I was
Yeah.
15, you know, I was
Yeah.
16, you know? So they gonna make the
Damn, man.
mistakes.
Damn, yo. Like, were you scared to become a father?
I
Because
was.
everything, all the game that you're giving right now is not something you picked up in a book. You picked that up in the book of life, experience, trial and error. So I want to know, like, because you've always been wise. Remember, we knew each other as teenagers. You've always was wise, calm, cool, collected, and fly. Always. But
Appreciate it,
yeah,
man.
absolutely. But you speaking with so much wisdom. I know you were in the church, you were a pastor, all that good stuff, right? Like, but were you afraid to become a father? I should have asked that on our first episode, but now we're talking about fatherhood and you giving so much gems to the public and the people watching. And you're as successful at being a dad. So shout out to you. That's an
Appreciate that.
accomplishment.
Thank you.
Shout out to you because there's a lot of teenage parents still trying to be teenagers. So shout out to you.
I'm only a teenager on the weekend. I'm probably on Saturday.
And even with that, that's responsibility because throughout the week you working.
That's a
So
fact.
you could be a teenager on the weekends when you off. But like for the person watching this right now, that's not even a father yet. Probably the teenager that may be watching, like, wow, he was a dad at 15. Like, were you like afraid, or did you feel like you had a strong enough community with you to guide you through that? Because that's another part of it too. You could be get someone pregnant at 30 and not have a community to support you because it does take a village.
So, yeah, it's a twofold question, and you said it perfect with the community. So the community helped out me being scared. So I wasn't scared. For me, it was more like at the time it was felt like, oh, it's something to add to my belt, but I didn't I didn't feel it until I saw it. You know what I mean? It's like back in the days, we walked around life like it was a game of damn,
Grand
Metal
Theft
Gear
Auto.
Solid or Gears of War. But then when you see somebody shot or you see somebody pass, you like, this is real life.
This is
So
real. Damn, this is real
so
life.
when I saw my child come out, I'm like, all right, this is real life. But the community I had and how I was brainwashed, it was easy for me because it's like I didn't need to rush and get an apartment. I had my mother. My mother was going to help with everything. It was no real worry. Like it wasn't like, hey, you got to leave in 3 years. No, it was like, hey, my child's gonna come over here on the weekends. I'm gonna take her and I'm gonna drop off. It really wasn't no real understanding of responsibility. There was no dad to sit me down. My stepfather was sick. When he found out, he was upset, but he was sick. It really wasn't much game he could give me.
Yeah.
My father didn't even know. It was my grandmother that paid for DNA. She my grandmother called because my grandmother couldn't
Shout out to
believe it.
grandma. Shout
So
out to
yeah, shout out to
grandma.
my G moms. I answer the question.
Damn,
Community
man.
community put that like, all right, we got you in a
We
sense, right?
got
I
you.
mean, it motivated me to, "Hey, you know what, I gotta get a job or I gotta start hustling. But I'm not big on reality until like I start looking like, damn, my daughter's too. Like, yo, damn, Jay, you really got a daughter. But for me, it's just like I just don't really believe it until it's there. You understand what I'm saying? So it kind
Absolutely.
of kind of took a while to like really hit me in the face, and sometimes it don't until I'm talking to somebody like you had a child at 14, especially when I'm talking to my white neighbors. They're like, hold on, Johnny, let me get this straight. So you telling me you had a child
Man.
at 14? You know what I mean? So
Damn,
that's
yeah.
yeah. So that's kind of like when it hit home. I've always been a person of like low emotions, So even though
Mm.
my emotions is low, but I'm just so grateful. You know what I mean? I just try to keep,
Amen.
just keep my thoughts to myself. Like,
Amen,
thank you,
bro.
God. Thank you for this lesson. But like I'm low on emotions. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if it's because I don't know because maybe my dad didn't give me a hug or this and that. But it's just like I'm low on emotions, and I will give it to my kids, even though I never got it for myself. And
Mm.
for me, it's like after all that, there's like still no grudge or anything towards my dad. Like I could go and hug my dad because I know my dad never had his dad. And I don't realize it, but I'm like,
Ripple
maybe
effect.
God is allowing you to break the cycle. So once in a blue, I see my pops, I go and I give him a hug and I'm like, yo, what's good, pop? Because I know he don't do it intentionally. He just don't
He
he don't
didn't
know
know.
how to
He didn't
do
know
it. You
how
know what I
to.
mean? Yeah, it wasn't
Damn.
like he don't feel like it's on some Diddy time. I can't hug my son. He just don't really know how to. You know what I
And
mean? Or
shout
he
out
don't
to you for giving him that grace. No resentment. No resentment. You like, yo, come here, man. Give me a hug. Because I guess even with that, it was a lesson for you of what not to be.
correct. And my
And
mom get upset with me to this day because she like, oh, like sound like you choosing your dad, this and this and that. And I'm like, it's not about choosing him. It's just like you got more than my dad right now. You know what I mean? It's like, life is gonna hand you, apples, sour apples. And I be telling her, she be like, you know what, you right. I'm like, you got more than my dad right now. You know what I mean? Right now, at this point in life, not just material things, but you have more than him. You know what I mean? Some people are so miserable because they live in a life of regret. Like, I wasn't in my child's life.
yo,
Some fathers or some mothers, they live in a life of regret. They done gave their children away. They done did this. And it's like they live in this life and they like walking
damn.
dead. And sometimes they just need like a hug. Like, yo, like understand. Yeah, I'm not saying you right, but I understand, and you kind of share them a little bit of grace. Not saying you agree with them,
Race.
but everybody is like different. And like I said, this walk with children, with life, like it's not easy. So a lot of times certain things that I'm finding, I'm learning as I go, and I'm like, yo, I'm telling my son like, oh, you slipping and you falling here, all right, boom, hold this, and in this walk of life, it's like, yo, like I might have adulting good, nobody never showed me, you know what I mean? You may have working good. And it's like, we trade those things off, and you might give me a job and I might give you some advice. And it's like, vice versa in this circle of life.
Damn, man, this is a wholesome episode, man. We spoke about we spoke about the media BS and what they going through. Just like the first episode, man, you left us with a lesson, man. Like a true lesson. Like the village is important. Just like even with you saying you've always been low emotion, man. I bet all your kids get all the emotion in the world from you, and that's what's important.
Nah, yeah, sometimes, but the thing is that what I learned is balance, and a lot of times, like
Balance.
I gotta be the bad parent, like I gotta be the parent, like yo, it's 8 o'clock, you gotta go to bed, and sometimes it's like I gotta turn my face away because I don't want to laugh, but because a lot of times people look at me like, oh, the comedian of the family. But like when it's time to turn the switch on, I'm like, nah, yo, no game. Nah, no
No
allowance.
game.
Nah, you can't go there. And I gotta be the bad one. Like I gotta tell my daughter no. Like, and it's rough because sometimes no to a girl, it's almost like, you know, a betrayal to them. They take it like personal. You know what I mean? And you have to live with being a bad parent. So a lot of times I play both sides. I play both sides of the coin. And a parent that really loves you, they have to play both sides of that coin. Shout out to Cardi B though.
Damn, yo, we out. We shout out to Cardi B. Man,
And
yo,
Offset. Shout out to
Jay.
Offset too.
Yo, Jay, you drop the mic. You drop the mic. Let the people know where to find you so we can keep this going. Let them know that we'll be back on the show for more episodes. Well, I'm going to aim for like once a month if you're available. Words of wisdom from Jay before we sign off.
Yeah, that's a prayer from God, man. It's been destined, I'm saying, to work with you, I'm saying? So definitely with that once a month, man, I really think we could do some big things. You guys can
Absolutely.
find me. You guys can find me on Instagram, still searching 30. And then you guys can find me, you also can find me on Facebook is you click on the Instagram link, or you can use the email, whatever. Email's East New York 365. But
Joe
that's where you
repping.
can find me. And I ain't forget I got a book for you, The War Within.
I know. I know.
The links is in the bio, and it's been a blessing. And I'm out, y'all.
My
Take it
brother, I
easy. You
appreciate you,
already.
man. Y'all know where to find me. Each the number one teach, the number one podcast everywhere. YouTube. Like, comment, and subscribe. And trust me, we'll be back. Peace.
Peace.
Welcome to Storytime with Chief, brought to you by E1T1 Entertainment. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you enjoy the episode, feel free to hit the Cash App. Any donation is highly appreciated. Peace.